With Nottingham Forest qualifying for European football for the first time in 30 years, there's a lot to discuss going into the summer transfer window. I'm not going to criticise this squad one bit because it's qualified us for European football, and that cannot be underestimated. Whether we have bottled the Champions League or not, I don't think that's a fair way of putting it. We were never expected to be up here anyway. Yes, we were third for a very long time, but European football, that's still exceptional. But it's become a very clear problem the second half of the season that the squad depth isn't there, especially with European football. With this squad, I do not know how we actually field an 11 potentially, because the injuries we'll get with 8 extra games guaranteed. That's only if you don't get out the league phase, by the way. That's going to be brutal. So in this video, we're going to talk about how we should approach the summer transfer window. But before we do, I just want to send my best wishes to Tyrell Wanney. Of course, he suffered a serious injury against Leicester at the weekend. There was the whole course debacle about it was offside, Marinakis coming on the pitch. That's all a bit of a mess really, isn't it? But most importantly here is the health of Tyrell himself. He has sustained an injury that could have possibly have been fatal. He's even been put into an induced coma, which is an incredibly serious thing to have to be talking about. It sounds like he's going to pull through, but what is most tragic is the fact that this is probably the last time we've seen him in a Forest shirt. After all of what he's done for us, this is how he goes out with an injury like that. So that is just tragic. So get well soon, Tyrell. Also, a bit of a different video style today. I just thought I'd try something different. I can't remember the last time I did a voiceover video, so I thought, yeah, let's try it. Probably a good thing, because I don't think any of you want to look at my face for too long, so let's get into the video. So let's look at the current squad. Of course, it's fantastic. It's good as European football. Let's not underestimate that. But there's clear areas where we need more squad depth, at striker and fullback. Of late, we've had a serious issue with fullback. At Wembley, we had to play a young centre-back out of position, and Harry Toffolo, who had barely kicked a ball all season. They both did fantastic in my opinion, but that was very makeshift and definitely down to the very bare bones of the squad. We've got these 3 players out of contract, as well as Alex Moreno's loan ending, of course, so that's 4 players that are going to be leaving before we even get to pre-season. But this segment of the video I'm calling, can you remember if this player was contracted to Nottingham Forest or not? Because we've got 10 players coming back from loan. 4 of them from the first Premier League season, and 2 of those not even played a senior game for us. 1 of them from the Championship season we got promoted in Jonathan Panzo. As well as Matt Turner and Andrew Omabaladelli. Yeah, there's a lot of deadwood there that needs to go. Omabaladelli I actually highly rate. I think he's a very, very good centre-back. He's having a good time over with Strasbourg in France, as they are even potentially going to qualify for the Champions League, so I can't see him staying. The most interesting ones though coming back from loan is David Carmo, Tyler Binden and Marco Stamanik. Stamanik not played a game for us, of course. He got immediately loaned out to Olympiacos last summer. Will he be one of those players that we just buy and we never see? I think there's a good chance of it, especially now with European football. David Carmo is an interesting one because he could come straight in and replace Willy Bolly. We may not even need to sign a centre-back this summer. Obviously, with the strength of Murillo and Milenkovic and even Morato most of the season, we don't seriously need to sign a centre-back. But with Willy Bolly leaving, Carmo could come right in, for all we know. That's definitely one for pre-season, and same for Tyler Binden, who is a highly rated centre-back, of course, having played for Reading the last 2 seasons and the New Zealand national team. At only the age of 20, he is such a promising, exciting prospect, and of all players, I want to see him get an outing in pre-season more than most. But let's look at the entire squad. Now, don't take this too seriously. Some of this is just my opinion, and some of it, more than anything, is what I think is actually going to happen. Which is what matters more than anything. My opinion here doesn't really matter because Forest aren't going to listen to me. It's self-explanatory, isn't it, that the entire starting 11, obviously, we want to keep. Matt Sells, Nico, Murillo, Milenkovic, Ola, Dominguez, Yates, Anderson, Gibbs-White, Alanga, Hudson-Odoi, Wood. We all want to keep them. I'm aware that I named 12 players there, but I think those 12 are the most concrete in terms of, yes, we need to keep those players. Because Harry Toffolo, Willy Bolly, will they stay? I'm not sure, probably not. Toffolo could be a decent depth option, but will he want to stay? Will we want to keep him around just for that? I wouldn't mind, honestly. Sangara and Danilo, I feel it's kind of last chance saloon for both of them, because Sangara's looked good recently, but ultimately he's had a lot of bad luck, and surely he hasn't got much time left to prove himself. I would be keeping him though. Same for Danilo, because I do like Danilo, of course, and he still is a great player, but he's not been the same player since that injury, and he's not consistently got back into the team because of the players in front of him. Jota Silva and Ramon Sosa have given us much needed depth this season on the wings, but some would argue not quality. I think Sosa hasn't really been given a serious chance in the Premier League, but maybe because we know that he's not at the level. I think there's a much stronger case to keep Jota around, because I think he has proven his worth this season. He's not the level of Callum or Anthony, I'm not going to be blinded into that, but he's scored some important goals for us, and I like his direct style of play. Whether he is just a pound shot Jack Grealish, I just think there's a player in there, so I think he's alright. That's just my opinion, don't crucify me. And Taiwo, of course, just focusing on him as a footballer here, let's be honest, it hasn't worked for him. I did an entire video about him last month. I think his time's up, and especially in the style in which he's going to miss the next 2 games of the season, the last 2 games, the fact that that's going to be his last outing possibly is... it's just so sad. It's really sad. So striker and fullback are clear areas that need to be improved. I think we clearly want to get a backup goalkeeper as well. Carlos Miguel hasn't really worked. Matt Turner and Wayne Hennessy, I can't see staying either. Midfield is also an area that Forest apparently want to try and recruit, and I think we probably need to upgrade one of Sosa or Jota, most likely Sosa. This is also according to the Telegraph reporting that Forest want to sign at least 5 players this season in key positions, as well as tying players down to new contracts. We've already done it for, of course, Chris Wood and Murillo. Is it Morgan Gibbs-White next? Ola Aina still hasn't been confirmed as whether he's going to stay. It's a bit of a grey area, that one. One thing we've also got to consider when it comes to players coming in and out of the club is the homegrown criteria. UEFA rules state that you must have at least 4 players on your squad that are trained at the club that are homegrown. Well, currently there's only Ryan Yates and Zach Abbott. Yates, the only first teamer that can qualify for that. If you can't register 4 players, then we'll lose 2 spots, and you can't just replace them with somebody else. Same goes for the homegrown criteria for the entire nation, so players from within the UK or who have been in the UK for a very long time, so the likes of Chris Wood will qualify. So that's something to consider whether you keep a player like Harry Toffolo, who will qualify for the homegrown nation category, and obviously keeping hold of Ryan Yates and Zach Abbott, and I think that's a no-brainer. But I'm not going to ignore it. We need to talk about Morgan Gibbs-White because we might need to sign an attacking midfielder this summer too. Of course, there's strong rumours that he could be going to Manchester City in the summer, which I would absolutely hate to see. I do not want Gibbs-White to go at all. I want him to stay and be part of our European tour next season. But if we do get a very good offer, 70 million plus, let's even be outlandish and say 100 million, I don't think you can turn that down. Gibbs-White is an incredibly good footballer, but he isn't completely irreplaceable. I don't think any player is bigger than any club. We have had a couple of spells this season without Gibbs-White in the team, and we coped alright. It's not like we cannot function without Gibbs-White on the pitch. Of course, I think we're a better team with him in the team than without him in the team. A lot of teams in that sentence there. Elliot Anderson can comfortably play in that 10 role, but I just feel Gibbs-White, there's a lot of players out there, like James McAtee, who've been linked with him, that could come in and replace him. Liam Delap has been spoken about at striker. Fernandez from Southampton has been spoken about in midfield. And Adrian Truffet, a player that we've been linked with the last 2 summers previous to this one. Clearly a player that Forest have serious interest in. If we're still being linked with him now, he's also a player we're being linked with. I'm not going to talk about potential new signings though in this video, because that's very early stages ultimately, and I'll cover it at the time during the summer window on a weekly basis, so stay tuned to that. But what do you think of this video? And more than anything, what do you think of Forest going into this window? A lot of deadwood to shift, a few key positions that need to be upgraded, a few positions that just need more players available. There's a lot to sort out this summer if we want to be ready for European football. I think we need a similar window to the one we had last year, which was a calm, concise, considered approach, but obviously an even higher level of quality. We've got such a big pool of players now that we can shop in. Thank you for watching this video, everyone, and let me know if you like this sort of style where it's just me talking and you're seeing pictures come up rather than my face. So yeah, let me know if you like it. I may very well do it again. But thank you for watching, everyone, and up the Reds.